everyone, and welcome to Memory Recall number 13 for GCSE higher students. Hopefully you've already done some of these and you're starting to see the benefit of doing them. Keep going and we'll see what's in today's video. Okay, so as ever, we're going to do our interleaving starter. 4 questions to start with. Some are the same as last time, some are different. And then afterwards, we're going to do our facts and formula test. So here is the questions for today. So we've got a simplifying question, we've got a quadratic sequence again, another solving equation, and the new one that we've added in today is sketching the graph of sine x, because we've just started work on unit 43 to do with the graphs of trig functions. So give it a go, pause the video, and answers will follow shortly. Okay, and so here are the answers then. So first of all, we're simplifying. So look at the numbers first. As ever, I'm going to do it a bit at a time. Look at your numbers, look at the letters that line up and decide what you're going to do. So we've got an 18 and a 16, or 2 goes into both of those. So we've got a 9 and an 8. So if you divide both by 2, we've got r to the 2 and r to the 6. Well, that leaves us with r to the 4 at the bottom, and s to the 7 and s to the 8 leaves us with 1s at the bottom. Next, we've got the nth term of quadratic sequence. So what I'm going to ask you to do is to write down the numbers first, then work out what your first difference is, then work out what your second difference is. So the first difference between there and there is 13, between there and there is 19, and the difference of the two is 6. Next, we're going to write down our a plus b plus c, and so on. So a plus b plus c is 6, that's this number. 3a plus b is 13, that's this number. And 2a equals 6 is this number. We're going to work out what a, b, and c are, starting at the bottom, working our way up. And then we remember that all of our quadratic sequences are in the form an squared plus bn plus c. So when we've got our a, b, and c, we simply slot those numbers in front or at the end, depending on whether it's an a, a b, or a c. So we just line them up nicely and we get our answer. Next one, solving x squared minus 16 equals 15x. Again, it's a quadratic, but it's not in that normal form. So the first thing to do is to get this across to the other side, giving us x squared minus 15x minus 16 equals 0. Then we're factorising it. So we're saying numbers that times together to make 16 that somehow I can get a 15 from. So you go 16 and minus 1. Would be a good starting point, but in this case you need to look at the signs carefully. We're going to have 16 and 1, but we need to be at negative 16 and we need to add 1 to get the negative 15 here. And then from here we're going to solve it. So x is 16, x is minus 1. Then the final one, sketch the graph of sine x between 0 and 360. Should look something like this. So you should be starting at 0, you should be going up. There's a maximum of 1, so make sure you've got your y values labelled, and that happens at 90, back down to 180 at 0. The lowest value it takes is minus 1, and between 0 and 360 it happens at 270, and then back up to 360 again. If you've gone further, it's not too much of a problem, it's just we're only particularly interested between 0 and 360. Okay, let's move on. So today we've got our formula, again some the same, some different. I've added the sine rule in, for example. We've got an exact value still, quadratic formula stayed, and we've gone back to volume of a prism. So let's see how we do. Okay, and here are your answers. So equation of a straight line, y equals mx plus c. Volume of a prism, we've got that cross-sectional area at the front multiplied by the length. Sine rule for an angle, sine a over a equals sine b over b. Speed is distance over time. Your quadratic formula, x equals minus b plus and minus square root b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. And the exact value of cos 0 is 1. Okay, so hopefully you've done really well today. Try and keep a score of what you're doing. You know, if it's a score out of 4 or a score out of 5 for your facts and formula, or if nothing else, keep that kind of mental note. The things that you're getting good at, the things that you need a little bit more practice on, and then over time we will get better and better and better. Okay, see you all soon. Bye.